Okay, I believe I'm streaming. I am going to make sure my audio is good and then share this stream. So just hang tight as we get started. Let me make sure that the audio is running. Make sure that I'm even streaming. Here we go. All right. Yeah, okay, audio is good. All right, so welcome, John Capobianco. This is just a stream. I'm just messing with refactoring, and I thought I would do some of this live. So how this works is I have a main page with an image that I use DALL-E 3 to generate for networkGPT. First page, you put in your openAI key, and you can hide these instructions. And then we build our test bed, right? Complete this form with all the required fields. And this is a DevNet sandbox I have a VPN into, hence the local IP address or private IP address. What's important here is the operating system, obviously, and the device name and the credentials. But this is going to build a testbed file. Save this output in the proper format as a pyATS testbed file that we can then use further down in the code. And let me turn this on so I can take questions. And the credentials, but there we go, that's on mute. Okay, so if anyone is watching, how do I tell? 2 people. All right, good. So if you have any questions or want to say hi, I am sort of watching the stream here on the side. And so we're going to build our test bed. So now, input any supported pyATS show commands for your operating system for real-time analysis of the command's output. Let's start there. Now in the code, I've just enhanced this. Originally I had sort of a generic question, which I do still have here, right? So I'll have to go over the code step by step, but for now, the point is, if they ask a question, generally speaking, what version am I running? This code is going to get invoked, where we pass it their question and then assume it's a Cisco operating system, passing it the operating system, try to respond to the user's question with a relevant show command, provide the most appropriate single command inside a code block, right? It's a specific prompt so that if I say, what version am I running? So we're testing the negative here. If they didn't start with the show command, what if they started with, so this is use case 2, ask it questions. What version am I running? So what's happened is I've asked AI to respond to this question with the most appropriate show command it can find, and then I run that command with pyATS. So if you see in my script here, it probably ran the show version command, which it did, which I parsed to JSON, put into a langchain, and then do my AI analysis. So now I'm analyzing the show version command, and it gives us this great answer of the show version command. Okay, and there's the output of the command. But what if I actually just know the command is show version? And this is some new code that I've added that if they run show version, ask a custom question that indicates, you know, they are analyzing the output of a show command. If the command is show run, if the command is logging, else it's just JSON, act like a network engineer, take your time and go step by step in your analysis of the blank output. So in this case, it just ran show version, and now I'm invoking that custom prompt to chat with it. So let me, now that I'm streaming, let me quickly share this if you don't mind, and get some more. And now I'm invoking that. So just give me 2 custom seconds prompt. Get rid of the. All right, so live AI network automation development on YouTube. And let's post it over on LinkedIn. Live AI network automation Okay, so now that I've ran the show version command, and here it is down here, right? It gives me this step-by-step breakdown acting as the senior network engineer. Very cool. So the next one that I added was the ping command. So let's test the ping command. Occasionally I have noticed that, I don't know if it's the UI or if it's the response, but sometimes the code block is broken. Now it still worked, so I assume this is a UI issue, because this is what the code block should look like. Anyway, let's try a ping, and I have this IP here. Either one of these IPs is going to be 100% success rate. So let me ping that IP. And now the pyATS job is going to run. Whoops. And there's our ping and our success rate, which we're going to convert into JSON and get the AI analysis from it. Now I've enhanced this question, and let's see if we get a better response than a generic question. So this question is specific to, where did it go? Here, right? You're analyzing the output from the ping, that IP address command. Ping command returns JSON of the results. Act like a senior network engineer. Take your time and go step by step in your analysis of the results of the blank command. So here's our ping response down here. Very cool. Sure, let's break down the results of this ping command. The address, the data bytes, the repeat, the results per line indicates a successful response. So in this case, all 5 pings were successful. The statistics, no packet loss, all 1 millisecond in terms of average, maximum, and minimum round trip. In summary, the ping was successful, all packets sent with no loss. The round trip was at a consistent 1 millisecond, indicates a stable and responsive network connection to this IP address. Like, how cool is that? We can ping something and get the analysis. So my last use case, I just added it, was dir. So let's try dir. And I just built this, so I'd like to see this run. I haven't actually tested this. And again, I have a custom command saying you're analyze the output from the dir command. So there's the dir command from boot flash. That there actually is a parser. Let me show you this real quick. If you're wondering how I'm doing all this, if you look into the pyATS parsers and go to the, where did it go? Parser website. Here, right, if I say ping, there are parsers for ping. So I could even say ping IPv6 and then the address, or ping VRF and the address in my UI, and it would work. Now for dir, right, there are parsers for, you know, for the Cisco operating systems anyway. So if I go to XE, I'm going to get this JSON schema back from that dir command that then I'm going to pass into the langchain. So let's see what dir looks like. So there's the JSON of the dir. Oh, and it lists all the files too that are in the folder as in a list. Dir is boot flash. And what is all this stuff? These are the files, bytes free, bytes total, right? So then here's the analysis, total size and bytes free. So I might be able to follow up and say, you know, am I running out of disk space on boot flash, and then have it run the dir command, something like that. The file analysis, the individual file analysis, right? The firmware is a fairly large file size. Okay, so the commands work with dir, ping, show, whatever. The other thing, if you haven't seen it, let me refresh to just start a fresh session here, is config management. And I'll show you this just to show it off. So can you please propose the configuration for a, let's say a loopback. What loopbacks do I have? Okay, let's do loopback 100. Whoops, I didn't press enter. Hang on. Let me shut it down. I didn't want that to happen. I didn't mean to press enter there. Anyhow, let's just start again. Right. Can you please propose the configuration for a new loopback 100 interface with IP 192.168.100/24 that is enabled with a description of configured by networkGPT. Right? So now this is going to come back with the proposal for the config. Okay, so you gave me two commands here. I'm curious which one it's going to take if I hit apply config, if it's going to try show IP interface brief or it's going to try this block. I try to have it respond with a single block of code. I'm wondering why it ignored that. But you can see there's the recommended config, which looks good. Let's try apply config. I'm not sure if it's going to run the command or show IP interface brief. Let's see what happens. Yeah, see, and it has bash there. So I have to adjust that prompt or take a look at that prompt. It was working very well, but let's take a look at the prompt and see what's going on here. So this is under apply config. I think maybe because I added the operating system value here. I did change this, but I do have do not include router or bash. Only, oh, what's that doc? Only command line commands inside a code block. Now let me add, is it OS? OS underscore value. Inside a code block. Let's try that again. It takes a high degree of fine-tuning these prompts to get it to truly behave the way you want. Let's say reliably. Now I might be able to turn the temperature down so it doesn't get as creative. Let's try that again. Please propose configuration of a new loopback 100 interface. With an IP of 192.168.100/24 that is enabled the description of configured by networkGPT. Let's try it again and take a look at what it recommends. See, it still has that show interfaces loopback 100. I wonder why it's doing that all of a sudden. So let's try apply config. And actually, I'm going to look into my container and see what the command looks like, because I am saving that to a temporary file. So let's quickly take a look at the see, it has iOS here. I think I've seen that's what's thrown it off here, iOS. But the config is there. So I have to, let me adjust that prompt again. And get rid of this. Only, and I'm just going to say do not include router or bash. Sometimes it wants to give me the full router, and sometimes it thinks it's a bash command. So let's try it again. That's why I'm refining it and refactoring it. And we can, I'll have to refresh this folder because I don't have that file created yet. All right, let's try it again. Please propose the configuration for a new loopback 100 interface with IP 192.168.4 that is enabled and has a description of configured by networkGPT. No question mark. So I mean, I have to have this does work. I have had this work. I thought adding the operating system. Let's see. Now let me deal with that. Let me just deal with that right now. Do not provide any show commands. All right, so if the user asks for recommendation for configuration, please provide the recommendation side of a code block, and do not provide any show commands to validate the code, only the recommended configuration. And then the rest of my instructions. All right, let's try this again. And I'm using strealit here, langchain, pyATS. Those are really the, all right, let's try it again. I should put that into a, do I have that on a? No, I don't. I'm going to make a file. Let me do this. Please recommend configuration for a new loop. That is enabled I don't have to type that every single time. Okay, so that one did work. Again, the code block here is a little off, but it doesn't have the follow-up. Let's try apply config, and let's take a look at what is actually going to be pushed. Perfect, perfect. There we go. Now, don't worry about the visual. That doesn't happen every time, or at least it shouldn't happen every time. So now, if I were to reconnect to this device, is this still a live session? Oh, cool. Show IP in brief. There's that port 100. Right, and now I could follow it up and ping it. Can you please ping the new loopback at 192.168.100.100. Let's try that. Something's broken in my conversation here after that command got pushed. Right, because if I ask that, see it just, all right, I'll have to look into that. Let me try that again just to see if that's a real bug, a bug I need to deal with. So let's, please generate a configuration for an NTP server at 192.168.200.200. So what I'm going to see here is after I apply config, I'm going to push the NTP server, right? So the functionality is there, but I think when it comes back, okay, config applied successfully. Yeah, this apply configuration section needs some work. Anyway, I just want to share some of this. I have some refactoring I need to do on this apply configuration button. Because, so let me just see here, show NTP status. Okay, well no, that came back fine and lets me run the command. So that was a one-time thing. Although, it does look like it either ran it twice. I have to look into this. It looks like I asked the question and got the answer twice. It happened to be the same answer, but there looks like a little bit of logic flaw there. So anyway, I've got to run. I'll be back later with some more development. Thanks for joining.